and welcome back to another review by Project. I'm Psycho and I'm going to be reviewing Dead Space, the second part. So let's just continue. I'm not going to be making much of an intro here, so I'm just going to go straight to the review. So Dead Space 2 is the second part of the trilogy released up to now by EA Games. And as said, it's the second game in the series that has been released up to now. Up to now, 3 parts have been released, but there are some rumors that the series will continue, but EA doesn't really know when, so we're just gonna have to wait for the 4th part and the further parts, because the final part ended in quite a cliffhanger. But more of that in the review of part 3. So back to the review of part 2. As far as the story goes, the story in the whole Dead Space series is a bit confusing from the beginning, and at many times in the game itself, but keeps a somewhat of a linear story that can continue. That can be explored and can be comprehended quite well, but some of the parts are a bit confusing at times. But most of the game clears out at the end. There still are some details that aren't exactly clear at the end of each part, but that's something that really makes the game even more interesting and playable, because you don't exactly know what happened, what is going to happen, but must continue on through the game to truly search out the whole story. As in part 1, a few characters have been introduced, some new have been released. The old ones have been kept, pretty much most of them, but there are still not too many characters in the whole game, so you don't have to really rely on knowing the characters that much, because there's about 7 to 10 characters in the whole game that you really need to know about. The gameplay has been kept from the first part, a third-person shooter game. Aiming can be a bit hard at times, but once you get used to it, it's not really that hard. At some parts, the game can be quite challenging, even on normal mode, but especially on hard mode. It's not too easy, and still keeps a level of difficulty to keep you entertained, to keep you in the game, and well, not get bored of it, actually. Some new kinds of enemies have been released in part 2. Most of the enemies have been kept from part 1. They have been a bit updated. Still the classical necromorphs, but they have added a few new ones to keep the series more interesting and playable. To somehow add some more spice to the game, that's what I'd say. The graphics in the game are quite good. For the year it was released, they are really good. Basically the graphics come in 3 basic settings: low, medium, and high. I think there's ultra as well. I'm not really sure about that, but well, the graphics are really good for the time it was released, so it works on older computers, but pretty much on lower graphics. On newer computers, it should run really smooth.
There were 4 of them.
The graphics aren't, the requirements aren't actually even that high, so
Here it is.
it should run on pretty much not that new computers.
Oh yeah, that's the one I need.
So basically, in my opinion, Dead Space itself is a really great series. As a series, the second part has kept the interesting things from the first part and continued it developed the storyline even further, upgraded the weapons, added some new features to the game, continued the story, which was pretty much really good in the first part. So
We'll kill your dicks.
so in the second part, it pretty much gets even better.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
It can be a bit confusing at times, but if you follow the game thoroughly, everything gets cleared out pretty much throughout the storyline.
Again with the spinning.
Some of the things kind of get cleared out at the end, but well, most of the story clears up at the end of the game, so you pretty much get everything that happened throughout the whole game.
You guys are there.
And I think it's a great second part to the series. It's truly worth playing. I recommend it to all of you guys. It's a great third-person shooter game once you get used to the aiming and the shooting and pretty much the gameplay itself. So
Okay, this might make
so I really recommend it
things
to everybody who hasn't played it yet, because
Come at me, bitch.
it's a great game, really worth playing. So that's pretty much gonna be everything from my side. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, comment on the videos, and I am going to see you in the next one.